God says, the angels are in shock because only you still don't know what happened last night. Hurry, this is your last chance to know the whole truth, so listen to God now before it's too late. The angels are in shock because while you were sleeping and unaware, I was moving in ways that changed the direction of your life forever. And if you turn away from this moment, you may delay a blessing that was released with your name written on it before dawn broke across the sky. Do not scroll past this sacred moment, because heaven has already acted on your behalf, and the truth you are about to hear will steady your heart and strengthen your spirit for what comes next. The angels are in shock not because of disaster, but because of the fierce protection and unexpected favor that surrounded you when you did not even know you were in danger. If you believe I am speaking to you right now, write Amen in the comments. Last night I stood between you and something that would have shaken your peace, and I silenced forces that were planning confusion and discouragement against your future, because you are chosen and dearly loved beyond what you can fully understand. The angels are in shock because they witnessed the intensity of the battle that never reached your door, and they saw how I commanded light to stand guard around your home and your mind while you rested without fear. This is your last chance to know the whole truth about what happened, because understanding my protection will give you courage to walk boldly today, instead of shrinking back in worry or doubt. Within these first moments of hearing my voice, I ask you to pause and gently press the like button as an act of faith and agreement, because your simple action becomes a sign that you receive the grace and covering that was poured out for you last night. I am not asking for recognition, but inviting you to respond with trust so that your heart stays open to the full weight of what I am revealing right now. The angels are still in shock because they saw how close the threat came and how quickly I moved to block it before it could even brush against your life. You still do not know what happened last night, because I allowed you to sleep peacefully while I handled what you were never meant to carry on your own shoulders. There were words forming against you, plans being whispered in secret, and unseen pressures gathering like dark clouds, yet I stepped in with authority and scattered them before they could take shape. The angels are in shock because they witnessed the mercy I extended and the power I released, simply because you belong to me and because my love refuses to let harm define your story. This is your last chance to know the whole truth. Not because I am rushing you with fear, but because I want you to walk today with awareness that heaven is actively involved in every detail of your journey. When you understand what happened last night, you will stop doubting whether I see your struggles, and you will begin to rest in the certainty that my eyes never leave you for even a second. The angels are in shock because even when you questioned your worth and wondered if your prayers were reaching me, I was already answering in ways you could not yet see. Last night I redirected a path that would have led to loss, and I replaced it with a hidden opportunity that will unfold at the right time, surprising you with joy instead of regret. I softened a heart that was hardening against you, and I planted seeds of favor in conversations that will soon bring unexpected support into your life. The angels are in shock because they saw how I turned what was meant to discourage you into a doorway for growth and deeper faith. You must listen carefully now, because knowing the whole truth will change how you interpret the challenges that appear in front of you today. What seems ordinary may actually be the first sign of the protection and rearrangement that happened while you slept, and what feels delayed may be the evidence of my careful timing working for your benefit. The angels are in shock because they saw how close you were to giving up recently, yet they also saw how I strengthened you quietly from within so you could stand again with hope rising in your chest. I am telling you this before it feels too late, because I do not want you to misread the season you are in or assume that silence means absence. My silence last night was not distance, but focused action, and my quiet work was louder in heaven than any storm that tried to gather around you. The angels are in shock because they understand the weight of what was prevented, and they marvel at how gently I carried you through it without disturbing your rest. Write 1111 in the comments as a declaration that you receive this truth and walk forward covered by my protection. You still do not know the full measure of what was rearranged, and that is why I am urging you to listen carefully, because what unfolds next in your life is directly connected to the unseen work that took place while you slept. The angels are in shock because they saw how I healed something deep inside you that no one else even knew was broken. As you rested, I calmed anxieties that had quietly built up in your heart, and I removed a layer of heaviness that had been clinging to your thoughts for far too long. This is part of the whole truth you must know, because the lightness you begin to feel is not random or imaginary, but the result of my hands gently restoring what stress and disappointment had worn down. Last night I also planted clarity within you, and in the coming days you will notice decisions becoming easier and confusion losing its grip over your mind. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how I poured wisdom over you like a steady stream, strengthening your discernment so that you will not be misled by appearances or empty promises. You still do not know what happened last night in its fullness, but soon you will see evidence of it in the calm confidence that rises within you when challenges appear. What if 7 seconds is all it takes to flip your financial fate? A shocking CIA leak just exposed a hidden brain ritual helping ordinary people erase debt and pull in massive wealth. Backed by 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning struggle into luxury fast. But this page could be erased any moment. Click the link in the first comment now before it's gone forever. This is your last chance to know the whole truth before doubt tries to whisper that nothing has changed, because doubt often speaks the loudest just before breakthrough becomes visible. I am telling you clearly that something shifted in your favor, and heaven responded to your silent prayers even when your lips did not form the words out loud. The angels are in shock because they saw how I honored the faith you carried quietly, even during moments when you felt weak and unsure of yourself. You must realize that protection was only the beginning of what happened last night, because I also positioned you closer to the fulfillment of promises that have been delayed but never cancelled. I adjusted circumstances that were quietly blocking your progress, and I removed obstacles that would have slowed your growth for months if they had remained untouched. The angels are in shock because they understand the weight of these adjustments, and they know how significant this turning point truly is for your future. As you walk through today, pay attention to small signs of favor that may seem ordinary at first glance, because they are reflections of the rearrangement that already took place. A conversation may feel unexpectedly encouraging. An opportunity may appear at just the right moment, or a burden may suddenly feel lighter than it did before. These are not coincidences, but living proof that what happened last night is already unfolding in visible ways. Write 1212 in the comments as a declaration that you accept the shift I have created for your life. The angels are in shock because they saw how close discouragement came to overshadowing your hope. Yet they also saw how I reignited your inner strength before despair could take root. I breathed resilience into your spirit, and I reminded your heart of who you are in me, even if you did not consciously sense the change taking place. This is part of the whole truth you are now receiving, because your renewed courage is not something you manufactured on your own, but a gift that was released to you in the quiet of the night. Last night I also silenced accusations that were rising in unseen places, and I defended your name when you were unaware that it was being questioned or misunderstood. The angels are in shock because they heard words forming that could have harmed your reputation or limited your influence. Yet I intervened and redirected those conversations before damage could be done. You still do not know the full story, but I am revealing enough for you to walk forward without fear of hidden attacks. This is why I say hurry and listen now before it feels too late, because awareness strengthens your faith and keeps you from misinterpreting events that are actually working in your favor. When you understand that heaven has already acted, you will not panic at temporary discomfort or assume that delay means denial. The angels are in shock because they know how much was settled on your behalf, and they rejoice over the future that is steadily moving toward you. I want you to hold your head higher today, not out of pride, but out of gratitude and confidence that you are deeply covered and carefully guided. The same power that guarded you last night is walking beside you now, shaping your steps and shielding you from harm you cannot yet see. The angels are in shock because they continue to witness my unwavering commitment to your journey, and they marvel at the depth of my love that refuses to give up on you. There are blessings that were released in seed form, and they will grow quietly until the right moment of manifestation arrives. You may not see immediate fireworks or dramatic signs, but subtle progress will begin to surround you like gentle light at sunrise. This is part of the whole truth that you must carry in your heart, because understanding the process will prevent impatience from stealing your peace. Last night I also strengthened relationships that matter for your next season, even if those connections do not yet appear different on the surface. I softened misunderstandings and planted empathy where tension once existed, preparing the ground for healthier communication and mutual support. The angels are in shock because they see how these restored bonds will become pillars of encouragement when you step into greater responsibility and influence. Type 777 inches, the comments, as a sign that you trust my timing and my protection over your life. As you continue forward, remember that you are not alone in any struggle that arises, because what happened last night was a reminder that I am actively involved in every detail of your existence. The angels are in shock because they witness my constant attention to you, even in moments when you feel unnoticed or insignificant. The whole truth is that you are cherished beyond measure, defended with fierce love, and guided with intentional care toward a future that holds purpose and fulfillment. The angels are in shock because they watched as I restored something you thought was permanently lost, and I breathed life back into a dream you had slowly stopped nurturing. While you were unaware, I reached into places of disappointment and removed the sting of past failure that had been whispering against your self-worth. This is part of the whole truth you must hear before doubt tries to convince you that nothing meaningful has changed. Last night I recalibrated your path so that wasted effort will no longer drain your energy and misplaced trust will no longer distract your focus. The angels are in shock because they saw how I redirected your steps away from subtle traps that looked harmless on the surface but carried consequences beneath them. You did not see the near miss, but heaven did, and heaven responded swiftly, because your destiny carries value that cannot be compromised. As you move through this season, you may notice that certain distractions begin to lose their appeal, and certain unhealthy attachments quietly fall away from your life. This is not coincidence, but the evidence of what happened last night when I removed influences that were slowly weakening your spiritual strength. The angels are in shock because they saw how close some of those influences were to shaping your decisions in ways that would have taken you off course. People are asking why money is suddenly flowing into random lives. A leaked CIA discovery reveals a 7-second brain ritual that quietly rewires your mind for wealth. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, people are wiping out debt and stepping into luxury with ease. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. The whole truth is that you are being refined and protected at the same time, and refinement is not punishment, but preparation for greater responsibility and blessing. I am strengthening your inner foundation so that when visible success arrives, it will not overwhelm you or cause you to lose balance. The angels are in shock because they understand the weight of what is coming toward you, and they know you must be anchored deeply in me to carry it well. There were also silent prayers from your heart that rose up without formal words, and I answered those prayers with decisive action even before you finished forming them in your thoughts. Last night I addressed concerns about your provision, your stability, and your sense of direction, and I began aligning circumstances to meet those needs in precise timing. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how quickly heaven moved once your quiet trust reached my throne. You must not underestimate the value of what was secured for you, because the protection and favor released are designed to carry you into a season of steady growth rather than constant survival. I do not intend for you to live in endless crisis, but to step into a rhythm of peace where you can build, create, and serve without fear breathing down your neck. The angels are in shock because they know that your life is meant to reflect hope and stability, not anxiety and confusion. Write 10 inches the comments as a sign that you are ready to walk forward in confidence and strength. The angels are in shock because they saw how I dismantled a narrative that had been forming against your identity, a narrative that tried to label you as incapable, overlooked, or unworthy of greater opportunity. I erased that false storyline and replaced it with truth about who you are in me, and that truth will begin to echo in your decisions and your posture. You still do not know the full measure of what happened last night, but you will recognize it when your self-talk becomes kinder and your expectations become brighter. Last night I also positioned you closer to divine connections that will sharpen your gifts and amplify your impact. There are individuals whose paths are being adjusted even now so that they will intersect with yours at the right moment, and those meetings will not feel forced or random. The angels are in shock because they can see the web of alignment forming around you, and they understand how those relationships will unlock doors that seemed sealed for years. The whole truth includes this reality that your protection was not only about shielding you from harm, but about preserving you for purpose. I refuse to allow premature exposure or unnecessary conflict to drain your energy before the right season of visibility arrives. The angels are in shock because they know how easily timing can be disrupted, yet they saw how carefully I guarded yours. In the coming days, you may feel a stronger urge to discipline your time, guard your peace, and choose wisely where you invest your emotional energy. This is not random motivation, but the internal effect of what happened last night when I recalibrated your priorities. The angels are in shock because they watched as I placed renewed focus within you, gently steering you toward habits that will sustain your growth rather than sabotage it. There were also spiritual battles that ended before you ever sensed their existence, and those endings cleared space for clarity and renewed creativity in your life. You may soon notice ideas flowing more freely and solutions appearing where obstacles once stood, and that will be a direct result of the warfare that concluded in your favor. The angels are in shock because they saw how decisively those battles were resolved and how thoroughly the opposition was silenced. You are not moving into uncertainty without support, because what happened last night established a stronger covering over your steps and your decisions. I have surrounded you with grace that will cushion mistakes and turn even missteps into lessons rather than lasting damage. The angels are in shock because they understand the generosity of this covering and the patience embedded within it. Write 9 inches the comments as a declaration that you trust the unfolding of this new season. The whole truth is that you are being ushered into a phase where resilience and favor will walk side by side, strengthening you internally while elevating you externally. I am not only preparing circumstances around you, but fortifying your character within you so that success will not corrupt your humility or distract you from compassion. The angels are in shock because they see how balanced this preparation is, and they rejoice at the wisdom guiding every detail. Last night I also sealed off access points that once allowed discouragement to creep in through subtle comparison and quiet insecurity. I reminded your spirit that your journey is unique and that your timing is intentional, and that reminder will continue to guard your heart from unnecessary frustration. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how carefully I tended to those fragile areas within you that needed reassurance. You must carry this awareness forward, because knowing the whole truth about what happened last night will anchor you when small challenges arise and attempt to shake your stability. When pressure comes, you will remember that heaven already moved on your behalf, and that unseen victories have already been secured. The angels are in shock because they know your story is shifting from survival to significance, from uncertainty to steady advancement. You still do not fully know what happened last night, yet the whole truth continues to unfold as I strengthen you with understanding so that you will not shrink back when signs of change begin to appear. Last night I addressed generational burdens that had subtly influenced your thinking and limited your expectations, and I broke agreements that were never meant to define your identity. The angels are in shock because they saw the weight of inherited fear and doubt lifted from your shoulders, and they know that this freedom will gradually show itself in the way you speak, plan, and believe for more. The whole truth includes this reality that you are no longer confined by patterns that shaped previous chapters of your life, because I have written a new direction that carries clarity instead of confusion. Why is everyone rushing to this 7-second brain ritual? Leaked CIA files exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the door to wealth fast. Verified by 4 top neuroscience labs, it's turning financial stress into abundance almost overnight. But this secret won't stay public for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it's deleted forever. You may begin to notice that certain temptations to retreat into comfort zones feel weaker than before, and that courage rises within you more naturally when opportunities call for boldness. This is not a sudden personality shift, but evidence of what happened last night when I strengthened your inner resolve and removed layers of hesitation that had grown quietly over time. The angels are in shock because they understand how significant this internal strengthening truly is, and they see how it prepares you for doors that require confidence rather than caution. The whole truth also includes the fact that I restored your spiritual sensitivity in a deeper way, allowing you to sense guidance more clearly and to recognize subtle warnings before trouble fully forms. Last night I sharpened your discernment so that you will not easily be swayed by empty promises or misleading appearances that once might have captured your attention. The angels are in shock because they saw how precise this recalibration was, and they know it will guard you from future regret that could have drained your joy. As you step forward, you may find yourself feeling less reactive and more grounded, because the emotional turbulence that once disturbed your peace has been quieted at its root. This calm does not come from denial of reality, but from a deeper assurance that I am orchestrating outcomes beyond what you can immediately see. The angels are in shock because they observed how I replaced inner agitation with steady confidence while you slept, and they marvel at the gentleness with which I carried out this transformation. Write 15 inches the comments as a sign that you receive this deeper stability and protection. Last night I also positioned unseen provision along your path, so that when need arises, supply will not be far behind, and you will experience answers arriving at just the right moment. The angels are in shock because they witnessed resources being aligned and opportunities being prepared in advance of your awareness. The whole truth is that I do not send you into new seasons empty-handed, but carefully equip you with what you will require long before the demand becomes visible. There were also words spoken over you in secret places that could have damaged your confidence if they had taken root, yet I intercepted those words and dissolved their influence before they could settle into your spirit. The angels are in shock because they heard those negative declarations and then saw them lose power under my authority. You still do not know everything that happened last night, but you can trust that hidden hostility has already been addressed and rendered ineffective. You may notice that your perspective on past disappointments begins to soften, and that what once felt like rejection now appears more clearly as redirection. This shift in interpretation is not coincidence, but part of the whole truth being revealed as I renew your understanding from within. The angels are in shock because they see how this renewed perspective will prevent bitterness from taking hold and will instead allow gratitude to shape your next steps. Last night I strengthened the boundaries around your heart so that you will love deeply without being easily manipulated or drained by those who misunderstand your kindness. I balanced compassion with wisdom inside you, creating a healthier posture for relationships moving forward. The angels are in shock because they know how often you have given more than you received, and they see how this adjustment will protect your generosity from being exploited again. The whole truth is that you are not entering a season of chaos, but a season of intentional growth, where every challenge will carry a lesson and every success will carry purpose. What happened last night ensured that growth will not come at the expense of your peace, because I have surrounded your journey with grace that absorbs impact and converts pressure into maturity. The angels are in shock because they see the careful design of this season and understand that it reflects my commitment to your wholeness. You may also feel a quiet release from comparison because I have reminded your spirit that your timeline is not behind and your path is not inferior. Last night, I broke the subtle habit of measuring your progress against others, and I restored contentment that allows you to celebrate small victories without anxiety. The angels are in shock because they watched how this internal freedom opened space for authentic joy to rise within you again. Write 555 inches the comments as a declaration that you are stepping into this new freedom without fear. The whole truth continues with this assurance that your calling has been reinforced, not weakened, by the struggles you endured in previous seasons. Last night I sealed lessons into wisdom so that past pain would not repeat itself, but instead guide you toward healthier decisions. The angels are in shock because they saw how every hardship you survived was woven into a stronger foundation that now supports your next level of influence. There were also spiritual doors that closed firmly behind you, preventing old cycles from re-entering your life, even if they attempt to knock again. You may not immediately see these closed doors, but you will sense that certain patterns simply do not have the same access they once had. The angels are in shock because they understand how decisive those closures were, and they know that what lies ahead is cleaner and clearer than what lies behind. As you continue listening to this whole truth, let it settle into your spirit that you are not merely surviving another day, but walking through a carefully prepared transition into greater stability and purpose. What happened last night was not dramatic noise meant to impress you, but deliberate action designed to secure your peace and accelerate your progress. The angels are in shock because they see how much was accomplished quietly, and they rejoice over the unfolding evidence that will soon confirm everything I am telling you now. Is this the same CIA brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak reveals a powerful 7-second technique developed under secret research. Backed by neuroscience, people are moving from debt to wealth and luxury faster than believed possible. But this secret may be deleted soon. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. You are covered, you are guided, and you are being advanced in ways that surpass your current understanding, and nothing that attempted to hinder you will regain the authority it once tried to claim. The whole truth is that you are stepping into clarity, provision, and renewed strength, and heaven remains attentive to every detail of your journey. Last night I restored balance where you had been giving far more than you were receiving, and I corrected subtle imbalances that were slowly draining your emotional reserves. The angels are in shock because they saw how quietly you carried burdens that were never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders, and they witnessed me lifting weight from you without disturbing your rest. The whole truth includes this freedom, because you are entering a rhythm where effort and reward, sowing and reaping, giving and receiving will align more harmoniously than before. You may notice in the coming days that your energy feels steadier and your focus more sustained, because what happened last night removed a drain that had been operating beneath your awareness. I sealed leaks of distraction and closed access points where discouragement had been slipping into your thoughts at vulnerable moments. The angels are in shock because they saw how subtle those drains were, and they understand how much stronger you will feel now that they have been shut down. The whole truth also involves the strengthening of your voice, because I reinforced your confidence to speak with clarity and integrity when situations require honesty and courage. Last night I untied knots of hesitation that once held back your words, and I placed wisdom in your mouth so that what you say will carry grace rather than fear. The angels are in shock because they know how powerful your influence can be when you stop second-guessing your value and start trusting the authority I have placed within you. There were also invisible agreements of limitation that dissolved under my command, agreements that whispered, "You must stay small to stay safe, or remain silent to remain accepted." I cancelled those lies while you slept and replaced them with truth that affirms your right to grow, expand, and express the gifts I have entrusted to you. The angels are in shock because they watch those false restrictions fall away, and they see how this liberation will shape your decisions with greater boldness. Write 17 inches, the comments, as a sign that you accept the authority and clarity I am strengthening within you. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how I shielded not only your present circumstances, but also seeds of future blessing that are still developing quietly beneath the surface. Last night I secured opportunities that are not yet visible to you, ensuring they will not be stolen or distorted before the right time of revelation arrives. The whole truth is that what has your name on it will not be intercepted, because I am guarding it with intentional care and unwavering attention. You may begin to feel a subtle shift in how you perceive delays, because what once felt like obstruction will gradually reveal itself as protection and preparation. Last night, I adjusted timing around you so that premature exposure will not undermine your readiness, and rushed advancement will not overwhelm your capacity. The angels are in shock because they understand how delicate timing can be, and they saw how carefully I preserved yours. There were also hidden comparisons that had been quietly shaping your expectations and creating unnecessary pressure within you, and I uprooted those comparisons so that your joy would not be tied to someone else's timeline. You will sense increasing contentment as this truth settles deeper into your heart, and peace will replace urgency that once felt heavy and anxious. The angels are in shock because they know how often comparison steals gratitude, and they celebrate the freedom you are stepping into. The whole truth includes restoration of trust, because I mended areas where disappointment had caused you to question whether effort truly mattered. Last night, I reinforced the connection between your faithfulness and the fruit that will come from it, ensuring that perseverance will no longer feel pointless. The angels are in shock because they saw how close discouragement came to hardening your heart, yet they witnessed me softening it instead with renewed hope. You are not walking blindly into the days ahead, because what happened last night created a stronger covering over your judgment and your choices. I strengthened your intuition so that subtle warnings will feel clearer and quiet confirmations more noticeable. The angels are in shock because they see how this sharpened awareness will spare you from unnecessary regret and guide you toward wiser paths. Write 1919 inches the comments as a declaration that you trust my guidance over every decision before you. Last night I also reinforced the resilience of your spirit so that setbacks will no longer linger in your mind longer than they deserve. I shortened the emotional recovery time from disappointment and expanded your ability to rise quickly after challenge. The angels are in shock because they know how much time was once lost to overthinking and self-doubt, and they rejoice at the efficiency of this new strength within you. The whole truth extends even further because I secured peace in areas of your life that felt uncertain and fragile, ensuring that even if circumstances fluctuate, your core stability will remain intact. I anchored you more deeply in my presence, so that external noise cannot easily disturb your internal calm. The angels are in shock because they saw how profoundly this anchoring will influence your reactions and responses moving forward. You may soon notice conversations unfolding in your favor, misunderstandings clearing without dramatic confrontation, and doors opening without excessive struggle. These are not random improvements, but visible reflections of the unseen rearrangement that happened last night. The angels are in shock because they see how thoroughly the groundwork has been laid, and they anticipate the visible fruit that will confirm this truth in tangible ways. The whole truth is that you are being prepared not only for blessing but for responsibility that matches your maturity and growth. I am shaping you into someone who can handle increase without losing humility, and who can navigate influence without forgetting compassion. The angels are in shock because they see how balanced this preparation is, and they understand that your future impact carries weight beyond what you currently perceive. Do you know why people keep whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A leaked brainwave method is spreading quietly and changing financial realities worldwide. Proven by neuroscience, this simple ritual attracts money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're so lucky. Click the link in the comments before it's taken down. As you continue forward, let gratitude replace anxiety and expectancy replace doubt, because what was secured for you is not fragile or temporary. Last night was not a minor adjustment, but a defining moment in the unseen realm that positioned you closer to fulfillment and further from unnecessary hardship. The angels are in shock because they recognize the magnitude of what was accomplished quietly, and they remain attentive as the evidence begins to surface in your daily experience. Last night I confronted subtle agreements you had made with disappointment, agreements that said you would guard your heart by lowering expectations and numbing desire. I gently broke those agreements and restored healthy anticipation so that you can look ahead without bracing for loss at every turn. The angels are in shock because they saw how protective walls you built out of survival instinct were carefully lowered, allowing trust to breathe again in your spirit. The whole truth is that you are not meant to live cautiously avoiding joy, but to live securely grounded in my protection while embracing opportunity with faith. What happened last night ensured that fear will not quietly dictate your next decisions, because I replaced hesitation with balanced courage that listens to wisdom rather than anxiety. The angels are in shock because they understand how powerful this internal shift truly is, and they see how it will shape your posture in every environment you enter. You may begin to notice that conversations which once intimidated you now feel manageable, and situations that previously stirred insecurity no longer carry the same weight. This is not denial of reality, but the result of strengthened identity that was sealed within you while you slept. The angels are in shock because they watched insecurity lose its dominance, and they saw me affirm your worth in a way that no human validation could accomplish. Write 2 inches the comments as a sign that you are stepping forward in renewed confidence and courage. Last night I also restored alignment between your heart and your purpose, because subtle distractions had begun to pull your focus toward what was urgent rather than what was meaningful. I redirected your energy toward long-term growth and sustainable progress, closing access to patterns that consume time without producing fruit. The angels are in shock because they see how this alignment will prevent wasted seasons and ensure that your efforts carry lasting impact. The whole truth includes provision that extends beyond finances into emotional and relational support that will meet you at moments of vulnerability. I arranged quiet encouragement to reach you through unexpected words, timely conversations, and reassuring gestures from people who may not even realize they are participating in my plan. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how thoughtfully these reinforcements were placed along your path. You are not being prepared for isolation, but for healthy interdependence, where you give and receive strength without shame. Last night I corrected imbalances that caused you to overextend yourself while neglecting your own needs. And I taught your heart to recognize that accepting help is not weakness but wisdom. The angels are in shock because they saw how this correction will protect your energy and preserve your joy. The whole truth also reaches into your future decisions, because I planted clarity in areas where you had been wavering between options that felt equally uncertain. Soon you will sense increasing conviction about which direction carries peace, and you will move forward without endless second-guessing. The angels are in shock because they saw how decisively I illuminated the path that aligns with your calling. Last night I strengthened your resilience against criticism and misunderstanding, ensuring that external opinions will not easily distort your sense of self. I anchored you more deeply in truth so that praise will not inflate you and criticism will not crush you. The angels are in shock because they know how often emotional reactions once lingered within you, and they celebrate the steadiness now forming in your responses. Write 1212 in the comments as a declaration that you trust my steady guidance over your emotions and reactions. The whole truth is that you are transitioning from reactive living into intentional living, where choices flow from clarity rather than pressure. What happened last night positioned you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, and to act from conviction rather than fear of missing out. The angels are in shock because they see how this composure will shape your relationships, your work, and your personal growth with lasting benefit. There were also doors that quietly closed without drama. Doors that once tempted you with familiar comfort but would have led you away from expansion. I sealed those exits not to limit you, but to protect you from revisiting cycles that no longer serve your development. The angels are in shock because they understand how easy it would have been for you to return to what felt safe, yet they saw me gently guiding you toward what is better. You may sense increasing patience within yourself as waiting becomes less agitating and more purposeful. This patience is not resignation, but confidence that timing is being handled beyond your immediate control. The angels are in shock because they observed how I infused your waiting with trust instead of tension, transforming what once felt like delay into preparation. The whole truth continues with this assurance that your influence is expanding quietly even before visible recognition appears. Last night I fortified your character so that when opportunities to lead or inspire arise, you will carry them with humility and steadiness. The angels are in shock because they see how balanced this preparation is, ensuring that growth does not outpace wisdom. You are not stepping into a fragile future, but into one supported by foundations strengthened in the unseen hours of the night. What happened last night secured peace around decisions you have not yet made and stabilized outcomes you have not yet encountered. The angels are in shock because they recognize how thoroughly I moved on your behalf, addressing vulnerabilities before they could become visible problems. Why was this 7-second brain ritual hidden for so long? A leaked CIA document exposed a technique so powerful people are canceling debt and calling in wealth within days. Validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it helps attract money like never before. But this page may not stay online for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it disappears forever. As you continue listening to this whole truth, let it settle deeply within you that you are guarded, guided, and gently elevated at the same time. The season ahead carries clarity rather than confusion, steadiness rather than chaos, and purpose rather than wandering. The angels are in shock because they know that what lies before you is shaped by intentional love and unwavering protection. Last night I shifted the spiritual climate around your work and your effort, ensuring that what you build will stand on stronger ground and what you invest will yield healthier returns. The angels are in shock because they saw how close fatigue came to convincing you that your labor was unseen and unappreciated, yet they watched me secure recognition and stability that will arrive at the appointed time. The whole truth includes this promise that your faithfulness has not been wasted and that unseen seeds are already taking root beneath the soil of your present routine. You may notice that tasks which once felt heavy now feel manageable, and that clarity accompanies responsibilities that previously stirred confusion. This is not coincidence, but evidence of what happened last night when I removed layers of mental clutter and restored focus to your priorities. The angels are in shock because they understand how subtle mental overload can slow progress, and they saw me clear pathways in your thinking so that decisions would flow more smoothly. The whole truth also reaches into your sense of belonging, because I addressed hidden insecurities that made you question whether you truly fit where you are positioned. Last night, I affirmed your placement and strengthened your confidence that you are not an accident in any room you enter. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how firmly I established your footing, ensuring that comparison and self-doubt will no longer quietly undermine your presence. Write 777 inches the comments as a sign that you receive this new stability and assurance. Last night I also fortified your boundaries in a deeper way, so that you will engage with others from strength rather than from fear of rejection. I corrected tendencies to over-explain, overextend, or overcompensate, and replaced them with calm clarity that honors both kindness and self-respect. The angels are in shock because they saw how often you carried emotional weight that did not belong to you, and they witnessed me releasing you from that unnecessary burden. The whole truth includes the strengthening of your discernment regarding opportunities that appear attractive but lack long-term alignment with your purpose. I sharpened your inner awareness so that you will sense peace when something is right and unease when something is misaligned, even if it looks impressive on the surface. The angels are in shock because they saw how carefully I tuned this inner compass, protecting you from distractions disguised as advancement. You may begin to feel a growing confidence in your ability to wait without anxiety, because last night I infused your patience with trust rather than frustration. Waiting will no longer feel like stagnation, but like preparation under careful supervision. The angels are in shock because they observed how I transformed restless anticipation into grounded expectancy. The whole truth also reveals that relationships around you are being refined so that only what strengthens your future will remain closely connected. Last night, I gently loosened attachments that were draining your energy and reinforced connections that carry mutual respect and encouragement. The angels are in shock because they see how this relational refinement will protect your peace and support your growth simultaneously. Write 999 inches the comments as a declaration that you trust the relationships I am shaping around your life. Last night I reinforced your capacity to handle success without losing balance, because increase is approaching in measured and sustainable ways. I strengthened humility within you so that recognition will not distort your character or distract you from compassion. The angels are in shock because they know how easily growth can become overwhelming without internal grounding, and they witnessed me anchoring you more deeply in steady identity. The whole truth continues with this assurance that setbacks will no longer carry the same emotional weight they once did, because I have shortened the distance between challenge and recovery. You will rise faster, process healthier, and move forward without lingering self-condemnation. The angels are in shock because they saw how resilience was reinforced within you, ensuring that disappointment cannot easily settle into defeat. You are not being led into fragile progress, but into durable advancement, where each step builds upon a reinforced foundation. What happened last night stabilized areas of vulnerability that once felt unpredictable, creating a stronger base for expansion. The angels are in shock because they understand the long-term impact of this stabilization, and they see how it will influence decisions you have not yet encountered. The whole truth is that your journey is being paced with wisdom, so that growth does not outstrip maturity, and opportunity does not outpace preparation. I am aligning your capacity with your calling, ensuring that when doors open you will be ready not only to enter but to remain. The angels are in shock because they observed how carefully this balance was established while you rested, preventing future strain before it could form. You may sense a quieter mind in moments that once triggered overthinking, because last night I addressed patterns of mental spiraling that drained your peace. I replaced those patterns with steadier thoughts rooted in trust rather than worst-case scenarios. The angels are in shock because they saw how deeply these patterns once influenced your reactions, and they rejoice at the calm now settling over your thinking. The whole truth reaches even further into your creativity and expression, because I restored inspiration that had dimmed under stress and routine pressure. New ideas will surface gently, and solutions will feel less forced and more natural. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how inspiration was rekindled within you, preparing you to approach tasks with renewed enthusiasm. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that flips lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth brainwaves. People are stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for very long. Click the link in the comments before it's deleted. You are being guided into a season where effort and grace work together rather than against each other. And this harmony was secured last night through deliberate intervention. I removed resistance that no longer served a refining purpose and left only challenges that strengthen without crushing. The angels are in shock because they understand how rare and precious this balance is, and they marvel at the care with which it was established. As you continue walking forward, remember that what happened last night was not temporary encouragement, but lasting adjustment that will echo through your decisions and relationships. The whole truth is that you are covered by intentional love that anticipates needs before they surface and addresses threats before they materialize. You still do not fully know what happened last night, yet the whole truth is unfolding as unexpected peace begins to settle over thoughts that once triggered discomfort and hesitation. Last night I untangled emotional knots that formed during seasons of misunderstanding and loss, and I replaced confusion with understanding that does not require revisiting every painful detail. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how carefully I separated lessons from shame, preserving wisdom while removing self-blame. The whole truth includes this internal freedom, because you are not meant to carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow's opportunity. You may notice that certain memories no longer hold the same emotional charge, and that recalling past events feels less overwhelming than before. This shift is not forgetfulness, but healing that happened while you rested under my covering. The angels are in shock because they saw how deeply some of those memories were rooted, and they rejoice at the gentle way they were loosened without disturbing your sense of stability. The whole truth also reaches into your expectations about love and acceptance, because I corrected subtle beliefs that told you to expect disappointment or to prepare for abandonment. Last night, I restored trust in my consistent presence so that you will not approach relationships braced for loss. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how carefully I rebuilt confidence in connection, ensuring that you can open your heart without constant fear. Write 555 inches the comments as a sign that you receive this healing and renewed trust. Last night, I also recalibrated your understanding of success so that it is no longer measured solely by external markers or visible applause. I aligned your definition of growth with inner integrity and steady progress rather than comparison and pressure. The angels are in shock because they saw how much anxiety was tied to external validation, and they watched as I freed you from chasing approval that never fully satisfied. The whole truth includes the strengthening of your quiet discipline, because I reinforced habits that build consistency even when motivation fluctuates. You will find it easier to follow through on commitments and maintain focus without needing dramatic inspiration. The angels are in shock because they understand how transformative steady discipline can be, and they know this reinforcement will shape long-term outcomes in your favor. You are not stepping into a season of frantic striving, but into one of intentional building where progress accumulates through steady faithfulness. What happened last night established a calmer rhythm in your efforts, replacing urgency with purpose and tension with clarity. The angels are in shock because they saw how this rhythm will protect you from burnout while still advancing your calling. The whole truth also extends to your ability to forgive without diminishing your boundaries, because I restored balance between compassion and wisdom inside your heart. Last night, I removed lingering resentment that had subtly drained your emotional energy, while strengthening your resolve to honor your own value. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how forgiveness and self-respect were reinforced together, preventing one from canceling out the other. Write 1212 in the comments as a declaration that you trust the balance I am creating within you. Last night, I fortified your spiritual resilience so that future disappointments will not shake your foundation as deeply as past ones did. I anchored you more securely in my presence, ensuring that when storms arise, you will bend without breaking. The angels are in shock because they saw how deeply this anchoring was set, and they understand that it will carry you through seasons that once would have overwhelmed you. The whole truth includes protection over your imagination and your thought life, because I guarded your mind against narratives that exaggerate fear or predict worst-case outcomes. I redirected your internal dialogue toward hope and grounded expectation rather than anxious speculation. The angels are in shock because they know how influential unchecked thoughts can be, and they saw me place a shield over your perspective. You may begin to sense increased clarity about what truly matters and what can be released without loss, because last night I simplified priorities that had become tangled by external noise. I removed unnecessary complexity and restored focus on what aligns with your long-term purpose. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how freeing this simplification was, and they see how it will streamline your decisions moving forward. The whole truth is that you are being prepared not only to receive blessing but to steward it wisely, and stewardship requires clarity, restraint, and gratitude. I am shaping your character to match the opportunities that are forming, ensuring that increase will strengthen rather than destabilize you. The angels are in shock because they see how carefully this preparation is unfolding, and they understand that your future influence carries responsibility as well as reward. Last night, I also strengthened your ability to rest without guilt, reminding you that restoration is not laziness, but essential renewal. You will find it easier to pause when needed and to return to work with refreshed energy rather than drained persistence. The angels are in shock because they saw how often you pushed yourself beyond healthy limits, and they celebrate the balance now forming in your rhythm. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest path to luxury? Leaked research reveals a simple ritual helping people attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, debt is dissolving and abundance is showing up fast. If you're seeing this now, you are God's chosen one. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. The whole truth continues, with this assurance that your worth is not tied to constant productivity, but to identity grounded in my unwavering love. What happened last night reaffirmed that you are valued for who you are, not only for what you accomplish. The angels are in shock because they understand how deeply this truth changes motivation, and they know it will shape your decisions with greater peace. You are being guided into a season where internal harmony supports external progress, and this harmony was secured through deliberate intervention while you slept. I addressed contradictions within you that once pulled in opposite directions, and I aligned desire with wisdom so that you move forward with coherence rather than conflict. The angels are in shock because they witnessed how thoroughly this alignment was established, and they anticipate the stability it will produce. Last night I strengthened your capacity to handle visibility, because moments of recognition are approaching that require humility as much as confidence. I reinforced your inner foundation so that when affirmation comes, it will not inflate pride or distort your focus. The angels are in shock because they saw how carefully I balanced elevation with stability, ensuring that growth will feel natural rather than overwhelming. The whole truth includes refinement of your motives, because I purified intentions that were subtly influenced by fear of falling behind or fear of being overlooked. I shifted your desire toward purpose rather than performance, aligning your ambition with integrity. The angels are in shock because they understand how easily motivation can drift, and they witnessed me recalibrating your heart with precision and care. You may notice that certain opportunities begin to align with your strengths more clearly, while paths that once seemed attractive lose their pull. This is evidence of what happened last night when I adjusted alignment around you, guiding you towards spaces where your gifts can flourish without constant resistance. The angels are in shock because they see how these alignments will conserve your energy and multiply your effectiveness. Write 10 inches the comments, as a declaration that you trust the direction I am shaping for you.